Welcome. We are your hosts, Chris and Tammy.
In this podcast, we dive into the mindset for networking strategies and skills you'll need to build a solid foundation to build a global business.
We've built a multi-million-dollar business and have mentored thousands of people around the globe in the last 25 years.
Inviting, equipped yourself with the right tools. And I think one of the challenges that people have in building this business is they create such a mountain of pressure on doing something that is really natural to do. And this is what we try to bring into it's a perspective. It's what we're trying to get you to feel, to understand. It's a different perspective for you to be yourself, have your own voice, and you don't have to turn into someone special and change your vocabulary and know everything about everything. It's just to be comfortable with the material you have. And the information that we share will just kind of give you some different perspective and gold nuggets for you to move forward within the conversation. So today what we're doing is we're doing the inviting portion. That's when you actually get into the action. You take the action of doing the invitation to either listen to a video or watch or listen to a call or coming to a Zoom session. And there's many different benefits in doing that over and above the synergy that you will create within your environment. And then there's the follow-up process. And we're not going to go about, through the follow-up today, but the follow-up is critical because really it is the reason why you'll have success in this business.
Yeah, follow the process, you guys, to a T. That's the key. And I always tell people what's important about following the process, you don't realize it. A lot of people don't realize it, that they're actually training their prospect, and their prospect has no idea that if they engage in the process, they're going to realize that you put them through every single training aspect. So the key is to become a people magnet, is to create that mindset of attraction. And I like to do that always in my head. The moment I wake up, I like to set that intention of attraction of whoever I'm going to connect with on social media, whoever I'm going to meet along the way, if I'm out and about, whatever it is to create that mindset of a magnet of attracting people to want to look at this. Okay. So I always say, start with the proper mindset before you even start your day, and become that magnet of people who just want to know everything that comes out of your mouth. They want to know about you. They want to know what you're up to.
Just to add another point on this, Tammy, and it's right in line with what you're saying, and I so agree. See, what happens is often in this business, and when I'm sharing things with you, I'm sharing things that Tammy and I went through, and still sometime we catch ourselves in that, that habit of kind of forgetting the importance of a positive mindset. And I know that there's a stigma in this industry. We all know it. We know it. And often people have a negative point of view because honestly, they never tasted the goods that comes from this kind of business. But once you do, and I'm not just talking about the money, I'm talking to people that are impacted by this business in so many ways. And when you wake up in the morning, and folks, listen, we're human beings. We're not robots. Because you're telling yourself this, it doesn't mean that tomorrow it's going to happen that way. But the mind is like a muscle. If you repeat the process, eventually it becomes that. And that's what Tammy's sharing here. And I wanted to underline that because this is a very crucial, important step, is how do you perceive yourself with that business will have a reflection on what others will think when you talk about that business. This is the meat and potatoes, is how do I invite people? And often associates don't know how to invite, and the fear takes over. And honestly, it's really, really, really simple. Really simple. But that's the point, is you want to keep it simple and tell yourself that it is simple. The mind is a powerful tool, and what you tell it, it will do and it will believe. And it starts with you. So the key is to keep the process so simple that it is easy to do, teach, and duplicate. Because as you start growing, you want to duplicate what it is that you have done.
And keep in mind that people are often programmed. We're all programmed to be told what to do at a very young age, right? So when you guide people to do something, often they're going to do it unless there's no connection with you. So I'm going to go through some of the rules of inviting. Is never, ever get attached to the outcome. That takes so many people out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Be your best self. Show up your best self. If you have to jump up and down outside, before you get into your office and get yourself psyched in that, you want to be your best self. Make sure you look decent when you're on the Zoom session, at least from the waist up.
Don't stand up too much.
And share your enthusiasm. Jim Rohn always said, people will come from miles to watch you burn. And it's so true. People get excited when people are excited. And be strong and confident. Even if you're working on this, just show up that way. And you'll see that you're going to get so much better results. We have this invite everyone, don't prejudge. I have to say that because I'll be honest with you. When I first started network marketing, I was a swimsuit designer. I never got all dressed up. I didn't have to. I was standing in front of a table every single day, designing patterns. I had my own company and I was making the garments, and then I trained my staff to do the garments. So I was ponytail, tracksuit. That was me. And then I come into network marketing and I'm seeing everybody dressed in suits and all of that stuff. And, if somebody would have prejudged me, they would have lost out. Yes. Never, ever prejudge, because you don't know that inner drive that somebody has to break free from wherever they are. So that's a really good message there.
So listen, we're going to talk a little bit about some script, but understand, folks, that scripts are very personal. Me personally, I've never been a script person, but from time to time, it is good to give you guidelines. And this is what these are. This is not some things that you have to say as we're saying it. There are guidelines to give you a head start, and then you can kind of judge around that. And I often use this. I've just started working with a US company that's expanding all over the world. I've had the opportunity to travel around the globe. Now, and then you can expand from that. Are you open to different stream of income? You see, so again, these could be just ideas. They have, one of the things is you can, they have products everyone needs, and people are making lots of money, and it's a fact. Right. So again, these are just I'm sure you know someone who would need the product. Again, that could be part of the conversation, who is looking to make some money. What if I send you 2 short video? Use the word short. Very important. And we review them and let's talk after. Tell me what you like best. And here's another thing I'd like to point out. When you're speaking with someone, never start with, what do you think? If it's a person that tends to always start with a negative point of view, well, that's what you get. And then you have to climb back up the slippery slope and try to get her back into a positive mindset. I will always ask, what did you like best? I start on a positive note. And it sounds simplistic, but when you're doing it live, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about right now, right? These are the examples. Another thing is that you prefer it by text, by mail, or WhatsApp, or Facebook Messenger. Again, use your common sense on what you feel the person can relate more. Make sure that when you send information, often people will turn around and say, I'll get back to you next week. If someone says something like that, one of the things that I would say is, you know what? Let me send you the link again next week, just in case. Would that be okay? And again, you're asking permission because, folks, next week, I mean, that this is like an eternity. I mean, everything could have happened, and they might have received 20 million different texts or email. I'm not sure what they do for a living. You know what I mean? So it's been lost through time, and they'll forget all about you. So you always have to be on top of your game when it comes to sending people information. We live in an environment that people are overwhelmed with data, information, promotion, everything. So you really have to be on top of your game and be specific. Why don't we talk tomorrow morning or evening? What's better for you? Be specific. If you say, well, when would be a good time for me to get back to you? Again, if you leave things generic like that, you will lose your prospect. It could be a really good prospect that can make a significant difference in your business. And the next step, and again, we're walking you through the process. But folks, what's really important is take action on these things. Take action on these things. If you polish yourself in a way to share the information, I'm telling you, no one will look down at you to give them information that we know is extremely important in our society today. If I would you, that's the phrase where if I send you this link, will you have time or would you look at it today or by tomorrow? Right? If I invite you to a virtual information session, would you attend? Or if I send you 2 short videos, would you watch them? Be very clear. Clarity is so important. Then ask how they would like to receive the invitation or the video link. So this is kind of the next step once you've kind of shared a bit of information.
Because if I states that I may or may not send it to you, if there's no interest, because you don't want to waste your time if somebody's not interested, right? So you're saying if I would send this, I may not, but if you're interested, would you look at it, right? So it's I love this setup here. Always remember, if I would you, and every single step that you're going to move them to the next step.
That's the cycle, the system that if repeated, it becomes duplicatable, and that's how it grows. So as I stated, is you got a toolbox and find the appropriate tool for the job. And one of the reasons it's so important is it's more comfortable. It's more comfortable for you. And remember, your prospect will also one day become an associate. That's your goal. So by watching you, they're saying, is that what I have to do? So if you turn around and you send information, it's comfortable for them to look at. It's very time efficient. It has to be comfortable. It has to be time efficient. It could be used multiple times, multiple views. It promotes time freedom. It's easy to duplicate, and it adds credibility because you may not know the proper words or the proper expression to really share value on something. So these are all the things that adds credibility, right? So utilize third-party credibility. That's another training seminar we talk about. These are all the tools that if you utilize and you put in your toolbox, I'm telling you, it will have a very good impact in your results.
And as you know, there's many ways of doing this business. You could be belly to belly. I know a lot of people are doing a lot of stuff online now. There's so much opportunity out there. So it's just to create those disciplines every single day and to connect with people, however way you're comfortable doing it. Do that as often as you can. And I always like to get people to stretch a little bit further. There's many platforms here that you can leverage from. So don't limit yourself to the opportunities out there, because there's a lot of opportunities to connect with people. the key is to get out of our comfort zones and try something new and add a new experience and add new connections.
But folks, it all comes down to belief. Demi and I have done many trainings on this, is belief in yourself, belief in your product, belief in the company, belief in the industry. This belief is very important. And I know, like me, you're a human being. So, because I tell you need to believe doesn't mean you're going to believe tomorrow when you make your calls. I get that. The fact is you need to educate yourself. And the key, and that's why you hear me often say, stay the course, stay the course. Because I know with experience, the people who stay the course sooner or later will come across someone, something at one point that will benefit them greatly. Right? There's a nice thing from Robert Kiyosaki here. The rich people in the world look for and build networks. Everyone else look for jobs. We build networks. That's what I believe. That's what's in my head. When I speak with someone, it's a new network from that person. Let me educate them on what we have to offer because it is such a great product. But my goal is to add her to my network and build her network, which in turn will benefit her. That's what we do.
We're the type of people who are going to do things that other people are not going to do. So imagine that you made that decision right now, that you are going to get out of the box. You are going to take your business to another level. Imagine all the people around you. Just think of all the people around you when they see you do this. If you become that person, there's no limit at all. But you got to make that decision every single day.
But that brings us to a close, guys. I really want to thank you for attending this evening. I hope that you got some information that you feel could be helpful for you here. So have yourself a wonderful evening. And again, thank you for attending. See you next week. Bye for now.